Hi everybody, my name is Meg and I have this recurring dream where I'm trying to leave somewhere like a college dorm or a hotel or get on a plane, but I can't because I have too many books and they won't fit in my luggage. So this is just a video wrapping up what I've been doing in June, and mostly I've been doing the I've been doing the Amazing Readathon. There are technically still 6 hours left of the Amazing Readathon, so I might actually make it to all 10 cities. As of right now, I've just finished number 9, so, who knows? Way, I am very proud of myself for what I've been able to accomplish this June, as far as the sheer amount of books that I have read, and the amount of books that I have gotten my 7-year-old daughter, who hates reading, to read, be read to, listen to. But in any case, she was interested in something to do with reading, and I count this as a win. Well, I have read 13 books this month, and that might not seem like a lot for a lot of people, but you know what? For me, it's pretty banging. Actually, including Twisted Love, which I read for no other purpose than to just have read it. I read 14 books this month, so go me. Honestly, the thing that I am most shocked about is that every single one of the 9 books I have read thus far for the Amazing Readathon prompts have been either 4 or 5 stars. They have these kind of side books you can do called sightseeing prompts, and there were, I've read 5 of those, I believe, and 2 of them were 3 stars. Other ones, 4 and 5 stars. And I only encountered one DNF, and we'll talk about that a little later. But I'm just going to give you the real quick rundown of the books that I read to meet the prompts, and then a super quick recap of the books that I read for sightseeing. I did have a goal this month of reading Saga 1 through 10 in preparation for my graphic novel book club's reading of Saga 11. I read Saga 1, and that was pretty good. And then I hogged the libraries 2 through 7 for 3 weeks and didn't read them, and I feel terrible. And that's just my Catholic guilt working overtime, so I'm telling you. Do I feel like a bad person? Yes. Yes, I do. Is that the truth? Probably not. Either way, the Saga series remains on my to-be-read list, and we'll see when I get around to doing that. All right, let's jump into it. Ander and Santi were here. I rated this 5 stars because it was excellent. I was truly invested in the romance by, I think, like page 40. They had me. And there are several holy plot twist Batman moments in the book. And the phrase that stuck with me most was "Soy puta en mi corazón," which means I'm a hoe on the inside. I truly, truly feel that deep in my soul sometimes. If you're looking for a book with a non-binary main character, I highly recommend this. It's by Johnny Garzavilla, and they are a non-binary author as well. And if you want to support queer authors, then this is a good way to do it. Do some free word association. I say Ande and Santo were here, and I also think artist and love and borders. So taquerias. Book number the second is Role Playing by Kathy Yardley. I gave this book 5 stars because if there's anything that I want to read, it's a portrait of myself if I were single in about 10 years as just a feral bog witch who stays inside all of the time because I've done what I want most in the world to do and become a freelance editor, and I have no reason to see people. Anyway, that's the main character, and that's our main female character who meets a male main character online. They are both in their 40s, and it's adorable because neither of them knows each other in IRL until about halfway through the book. Then they meet IRL, and it's just warm and cozy, and she is a bag of nails being thrown at high speeds off a cliff, and he is just a warm, cuddly ball of teddy bear, and it's beautiful. Got to see some fantastic representation of a demisexual identity in role playing, by the way, and that's something you don't see every day. So if that appeals to you, please check it out. You say role playing, I say sweater boots, World of Warcraft, and punching someone in the throat at a wedding. Book number the third, Fleeing Fate by Sabrina Day. I gave this 5 stars because after reading it, I was obsessed. I was fully ready to dive into the next book, whether it fit a prompt or not. I didn't care. And then I realized something tragic. Her second book is not available. There was a snafu with Amazon and the publisher, and for whatever reason, she's not writing anymore. And I tried to follow her on all of her socials, and alas, she hasn't put out anything since, a couple of years ago. And I was terribly sad. But if you do get the chance to read it, Fleeing Fate is amazing. If you are one of those people who loves the alpha, beta, omega dynamic, then you're gonna love Fleeing Fate. I know I do, and I did. You say Fleeing Fate. I say hiding in a cabin in the woods with a bunch of big, burly alpha men. So, nubbly blankets. There was a lot less passion and romance and intrigue and a lot of soul searching, and that's not what I came to the table for. So, 4 stars it was. You say a lady for a duke. I say intricate chokers designed to hide an Adam's apple that actually become a fashion icon. Also, embroidered gloves. Book number 5 was Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton. I was going to get to this one way or another because book talk and my deep and dark obsession with things that are creepy and wrong was just going to lead me there. And that I gave 4 stars. Again, I was expecting it to blow me away, and while it was a very good book, it did not blow me away. And I didn't find it a whole lot different from other, like, non-con becoming con dark romance stuff. So, yeah, there is that. Nevertheless, I did very much enjoy it. There was an element of a mystery to be solved throughout the book, and I enjoyed that being written in there. It is a long one, but I, thoroughly enjoyed myself for all 600 pages of it. And Summerween, a readathon that I'm going to be doing this coming month in July, has a prompt, read a book in the dark. There is a spin-off of this book called Satan's Affair that is absolutely perfect to read in the dark. So that's going to be something that I do next. You say Haunting Adeline, I say a stalker watches you through the window, and then you catch the reflection in the window, and you look back at yourself and realize that you like it. Stalker realizes he likes it too. Shenanigans ensue. Number the 6th, Lore Olympus, Volume 1 by Rachel Smythe. This was just an excuse for me to read the Lore Olympus series again, because at that point I was behind on my prompts and I needed to read a book about religion and gods, a book that was the 4th in a series, and then also a book that had a light source on the cover. So light source was volume 3, religion and gods volume 1, and then a sightseeing prompt was volume 4. I also had just bought volumes 4 and 5 on Amazon for a discounted price and was raring to read the entire thing. I also hadn't read the most recent season of Lore Olympus and took the opportunity to read it from beginning to end. And by God, I love that series. So 5 stars. I had already read it. I knew it was going to rate 5 stars, but if you haven't checked out Lore Olympus, please do. It's a Hades and Persephone retelling that defines all Hades and Persephone retellings. It's just amazing. You say Lore Olympus, I say I can fix him. He needs to know that he is loved. Also, I am tiny and pink. Book number the 7th was Lore Olympus Volume 3, and that needed a prompt for a book with a light source on the cover. Lore Olympus Volume 3 has stars on the cover. And one of the things that I find really beautiful about that whole world is that Persephone enjoys the opportunity to experience cold, and the opportunity to experience the different kinds of stars and the night sky in the underworld that is just different than the night sky up in the mortal realm. So, I already told you my feelings on the series, so let us continue on to book number the 8th, The Queer Principles of Kit Webb. That was 5 stars. I love a queer romance between a sarcastic fop who's from the aristocracy and a salt of the earth, gruff, grumpy guy. And that is exactly what Cat Sebastian delivers. It's fun. My heart is in my throat. There's an element of mystery, and they get to have their happily ever after in a way that is uncompromising for the times. And what I mean by that is that often you will find a really contrived happily ever after for Victorian or Regency romances between queer couples, where you think, yeah, there would be a lot of eyebrows raised if they did that, or they get a happily ever after, but it's where each of them learns to find themselves and finds fulfillment through some kind of calling because they can't truly be together in the way that they want. The Queer Principles of Kit Webb, however, has Percy and Kit being able to be together in an uncompromising way at the end. And that just makes me very happy. This book also, excellent demisexual representation. It doesn't come right out and say it, but that's kind of what I identify that character as. You say queer principles of Kit Webb. I say stagecoaches and well-defined calves and hose. Like hose stockings, not hose as in them hose over there. And finally, book number the 9th, That Damned American. I went into this one with the lowest expectations of any of the books that I read for this Amazing Readathon prompt, and I came out happier than I could ever have imagined. So this is another one where it's a male and a male protagonist, and they find an uncompromising happily ever after, and it's steamy, it's witty, it's adventurous, it pokes at really sensitive spots like losing a former lover and, making amends for things that you've done in the past. It is the 5th of the Trade Wind series, so I am not surprised that the characters are as intricately developed as they are. I will be going out and immediately reading the rest of this series. So That Damned American by Rebecca Audrey, I did give that 5 stars, and I'm not sorry. I think you should go read it, and then if you feel moved to do so, give it 5 stars, because that is a book that does not have a whole lot of ratings or reviews, and it deserves to have so many. You say That Damned American, I say lots of nautical puns that have to do with dicks. Captain's Log. Hoist the Flag. The books that I did read for the sightseeing prompts were Nick and Charlie, a novel in the Heartstopper comic/graphic novel series. That one I gave 3 stars. I feel like that's one of those you had to be there for the Heartstopper series, and that is the first I'd been introduced to that world. Also Saga Volume 1, which I gave 4 stars. Again, I thought that there would be a little more to the hype. It was a very good book, but nothing that knocked my socks off in the way that I expected it to. I also read Lore Olympus Volume 4 for the 4th book in a series, and I read Earl's Prize Curves, which I gave 3 stars. And I think the reason I gave this one 3 stars is because I started it, was insanely creeped out. The male main character is the father of the female main character's best friends, and it squicked me out. It was not done in a way that was sexy. It was done in a way that was creepy. And then, for reasons, I had to put the book down for a week or so. When I picked it back up again, the relationship was hotter. I was more a fan of it. So, because of my conflicting attitudes, I did end up giving it 3 stars. Talk about the DNF in the room, and that's Mary Sekhmet. I got 2 chapters into it, and I couldn't. The way that the dialogue was written is the way that when I was 18 years old and in my first Vampire the Masquerade LARP, I spoke to people because I thought it was mysterious and sexy and very erudite. That's what the dialogue was like. It's written by multiple authors. It shows. It was disjointed. It was not enjoyable to read from one paragraph to the next, and so I put it down. I feel bad about putting it down because I don't like to do that, but it would have been a slog that I just didn't have time for in order to power through and finish that book. That's my June recap, everybody. I read a whole bunch of books. I also listened to Twisted Love by Anna Huang on Audible. My daughter turned me on to a really excellent audiobook for middle grades called The Mistwick School of Musicraft, which is basically Harry Potter, but music makes spells happen. So if you have kids or if you like middle grade books, I would highly suggest that you check it out. It's an Audible original, so it actually has instruments playing in the background, kind of complementing what's going on in the novel with actually playing the different spells that are being mentioned. So it's fantastic. I will be back here in a couple of days to tell you about my TBRs for the three readathons I've decided to do in July. One is the Sixathon, one is the Fuckathon, and then the other one is Summerween. I will see you lovely people then. Until then, I do have an Instagram that I am slowly building up. I also have a Threads, a Twitter, and a TikTok, which is probably the most functional of all of my socials media. So please go ahead, check me out, subscribe. If you liked any of the books that I mentioned, if you didn't like any of the books that I mentioned, if you want me to read something, just let me know. And I will see y'all in a couple of days.